chance to be around our guys. I feel like they've made a lot of gains, weight-wise, mental, physical development, learning how to compete at a high level throughout the whole summer. And this is my fourth year that I'm beginning. And I can say that I feel the most comfortable with where we are from a foundation standpoint of guys that we have pushing guys. We've got a lot of experience at the defensive line position, which anyone that understands football, that's where you win in the trenches. Offensive and defensive line have to be strong. So we feel like we've got veterans there, and Neville Gattermore, that's played a lot of football for us, Kenneth Mann, Monty Bledsoe, and then we feel like we've recruited really well. So you infuse that group with guys like Tyree Slott, guys like Ronnie Perkins, Ron Tatum, Jalen Redmond. So now you're talking about the athleticism to be able to close the pocket, but also they're big guys, right? Big guys that can be able to affect the quarterback, which I think that's what we've been missing the last few years. Linebacker we feel pretty good about as far as the inside position. Kenneth Murray was a true freshman for us last year, number 9. Kid is very athletic. It's super important to him. But again, playing at this level and playing in this league as a true freshman, his head was swimming last year, but we believe that he's going to make the strides, and he has made the strides this spring and this summer to be an elite player for us. Caleb Kelly as well. Curtis Bolton's probably our most experienced linebacker in that group. Critical position for us moving forward that we need to seriously evaluate through the spring will be our outside linebacker position. Losing Obo, who's with the Rams right now, one of the best pass rushers in the country, is going to be hard to replace, but we feel like we've got guys there. Again, experienced group with Mark Jackson, that's played a lot of football for us. Addison Gums has improved, and we moved Ryan Jones, who came in as a safety a year ago. We moved him to that outside linebacker position, and he's got all the traits to be an elite player. Now he's got to go and do it. He's got to go through the learning experience of doing that. Secondary-wise, I feel great about my cornerbacks. I feel like I've got 3 cornerbacks that can play at championship level. Trey Norwood was a true freshman last year that ended up starting the back half of the season. He's shown great leadership throughout this summer. Trey Brown, very athletic kid, picking up the system well, hungry to get in there and play. And then Pernell Motley. Pernell Motley's entering into his 3rd year, and everybody was kind of up and down with him last year, but last year was his first time, really owning that spot. And it's different when you have to be a role player to really taking over and owning that spot. So he went through his ups and downs, but he understands that he needs to play a little bit more consistent for us to get to where we need to go. Safety position, we lost Stephen Parker and Will Johnson, 2 exceptional players for us. We moved Jordan Parker, who started 9 games for us as a true freshman at corner, very athletic, very smart player. We've moved him to strong safety to compete with that position with Khalil Halton. We've also moved Justin Rules, because we feel good about where we are from a cornerback standpoint, to the free safety to compete with Robert Barnes, who was another highly recruited kid. And then last but not least, we've got a host of young guys that I think that are going to be exceptional. It's just going to, again, they're going to have to go through that process and that learning experience. But I will say that there's one guy that everybody talks about and has heard about, and I even joked about with Coach Riley throughout the recruiting process, that he had more Twitter followers than Coach Riley. But Mookie, as he's known as, is, I've been doing this for 17 years now, and I've coached several first-round players. I'm not putting this on him. I'm not saying that he's going to be a first-round NFL draft pick, but from those guys that I've coached that were first-round draft picks and still playing in the NFL today, for him to be a 17, 18-year-old young man, he is far and away, the most mature kid. He's got great leadership. He's got a great foundation at home, and he's just a natural playmaker. But again, that's a lot to ask for a true freshman to come into a program like OU and expect those things. But that's what he's shown. So we're going to hold him accountable to that, and I feel great about him being in our program. He's primarily going to play our nickel position, but he could play anywhere on the field for us. So that's kind of where we are as a defense. I think the thing that we're working on as a staff with our guys is we've shown flashes of really, really, really good defense last year at the Ohio State game, the two games that we played versus TCU. But we've got to get our guys to understand that consistency is the key to success.